Have you learnt everyone's name?
Well, I'm trying. I did quite well then. I've got most of the girls. But then what happens, so I see them in warm-up, and we're all sort of, whatever, and then they go and put wigs on. I don't recognise anybody.
You're starting all over again.
And there's 108 wigs in the show.
Oh, wow.
It's massive. It's just the most extraordinary spectacle. It's fantastic.
As you can see,
the campus show in the
You were fantastic.
Yeah,
thank you. And that's done with
so
virtually no rehearsal, so well done. You are very professional. Lovely.
They've been outside in the cold. I'm worried about them. They need
it's got chilly now. Give our love to the rest of the team.
Yes.
The thing is, it is such a spectacle. I think that's the perfect word for it. Seeing that amount of people all tapping, the sound that makes. It kind of feels very immersive once you're in there.
It's very immersive. It's very infectious. It's very alive. It's very joyous.
So explain the show. Explain the plot.
Right. Well, it's a show within a show. So it's set in 1933, very dark times, just after the Depression. And basically, what it is that this huge producer, sort of like a Cameron Mackintosh, Andrew Lloyd Webber, is trying to put on this big show that he's very famous for. And the only way he can do it, because he hasn't got any money left because of the crash, is to have this leading lady in the show who he doesn't much like, because she's got a sugar daddy who's prepared to put up all the money. So there's a bit of conflict to start with, but also there's various dramas that happen within the show, and then there's an event at the end of the first act, which means that the youngest performer who's in the show, the ingenue, who's never been on Broadway before and loves the bright lights and thinks she's a speck of dust in his magical show, then ends up saving the day.
Right.
See, OK.
Well, I mean, you must be one of the few people that have actually played both parts.
Apparently, I'm the only person who's played both parts. Because, yes, when I was in my 20s, I played Peggy Sawyer, who's the young girl, and I played Dorothy Brooke, now the old girl.
And so you said you're enjoying it better this time than you did in your 20s.
Well, I think when I was in my 20s, I was exhausted, actually. I was exhausted, and also I felt very pressured. I think I was just very unbalanced in my life outside, and I think I was expecting to go on stage and love all this tap dancing, which I did, but I was tired, and I sort of needed to get that work-life balance back. So it's been, in fact, on my dress rehearsal a couple of weeks ago, because I've been in the show 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
I literally finished on Albert Square on the Friday and started on this on the Monday, so I'm...
Yeah, but that's what you love anyway, isn't it?
I love
it. Still got to work on the work-life balance.
I know, yes, maybe I haven't quite got it right, actually. Yeah, probably right.
It must be tough, though. It must have been tough back then, bearing in mind that this is really a big, smiley show, to be out there, to be smiling, to be dancing, and then inside actually not feeling like that.
Well, I think the thing is that you can't expect your work to fix your life. It has to be balance, as I say. So at that point, I was thinking, oh, but I love doing this. I love doing this. Why am I not feeling happy? And all, so it was almost worse in some respects. But I worked that bit out, and it's fine. But I think what it was just that a couple of weeks ago, when I was doing my dress run, I stood at the end of the first half. I sing 42nd Street, the title number, all on my own on this massive stage. And suddenly, and Peggy sings it as well at the end of the second half, exactly the same. And suddenly, I was 23 again, standing there doing it, and it was just, you know how, when you see a television show and it suddenly goes, and your life flashes before you. And that's really what happened. And also, there's so many amazing connections for me being in this place, because Theatre Royal Drury Lane is where I made my debut in the West End when I was 7.
Is that right?
And I walk on from the same place.
Oh, my gosh.
By 7, you were already a veteran, though, weren't you?
No, I wasn't.
You made your appearance, the first ever appearance on stage, at 3 months old.
Well, I know, but but this was kind of proper. That was kind of just being carried on in my mother's arms, But so.
And it really, I mean, this talent within you has gone through all the generations, really, because your mum's she's still teaching.
My mum is still teaching. She's 88. And
My
she's
goodness,
still teaching.
good for her.
She came the other day and did a time step on the stage.
Did
this is how you do it.
I bet. And then
and she broke her hip earlier this year as well, so she's incredible.
Wow. And your daughter also she wants to sort of get into this side of things as well.
Yeah, she wants to.
So you
wants to be in it, but we'll see.
You're the best person to offer advice to her. Then,
oh no, she doesn't listen to a word I say. Oh no, I'm her mother. She doesn't listen to anything.
You mentioned that you started rehearsals immediately after you finished on Albert Square. Of course, you're still there at the moment. It's still on screen. It's still on screen. But for you, you said that storyline was, for the character, and obviously personally as well, but so tragic, so traumatising for the character, that there was nowhere else to go at the moment, and you really had to leave.
Well, I think that, because you're talking about my son in the show. He was a victim of knife crime. And I think what I think is important it was treated so brilliantly. I think EastEnders were so sensitive with the material and also invested in it so much. You know, it wasn't a case of some dreadful event happened, following week, it's all forgotten, we go on to the next thing. I mean, it's still, they've looked at it from every single possible angle and treated it with such integrity. And I was so proud to be part of that. But also, you know, it is gruelling to keep sort of churning that out, and also for an audience to keep watching somebody who is broken, but that person needs to be broken because you would be.
Yeah.
So what I didn't want to do was to suddenly turn around and it all be forgotten.
Yeah. Well, was Shakil's funeral?
Yes.
Was that
was very powerful.
breakthrough, incredible, groundbreaking moment where in a soap you have real people who have been in some knife crime has touched their lives in some way.
Oh, massively. Yes, I mean, we filmed the funeral on this one particular day in a closed set, and there were many people there who were there. They all had pictures of their loved ones that they were holding, and we walked through them, and it was terribly moving, very peaceful, and then became very, very cathartic. There was a lot of crying, a lot of tears, and at one point I went over to one of the ladies, and because I just felt it was maybe too much. You know, this is very, very personal. And she said to me, she said, it's so funny, I didn't cry at my own son's funeral, but I can now. And she said she had to be strong that day, and now she had permission.
Yeah, for you to have, you know, that aspect of your career and those experiences, and then this aspect of your career. I mean, that really is, it's sort of colouring in everywhere, isn't it?
It's polar opposites, but yes, I mean, this is just utter joy. And yet, you know, being in EastEnders was just wonderfully challenging and.
But you can go back.
Yeah.
The door is open,
The door is open.
It's lovely to see you, it really is.
Thank you.
42nd Street Theatre, Drury Lane.
Yes.
Thank you.